right, and welcome back. So recently, I was in a conversation with someone that was talking about the term that there was things that we sell that are just the cost of doing business. And this is one of those terms the industry kind of throws around that inevitably that there are certain expenses that should not be paid for because you should just be willing to eat those expenses even though they're legitimate parts. And when I say that is that I mean to say this, that when you put a bumper cover on a car, you pay that there's hardly any pushback whatsoever on the bumper cover that you ordered from the aftermarket sheet metal or plastic provider in this situation. But for some odd reason, there seems to be some sort of a bias against the clips and the fasteners that actually hold that bumper cover on. And this reminds me of a story one time. I was working with a district manager, and we were dealing with a particular insurance adjuster when this phrase came up. That this particular insurance adjuster was telling us about how awesome he was. And he was sitting there talking about how he was at a previous body shop before he got this job in for this as an insurance adjuster, that he was making all this money. He's like, man, and you just would not believe how much I was able to make profit-wise for this shop, and I was, just charging the insurance company for everything. I was doing all the right stuff. So he finally comes and he kind of looks at me and says, so what do you do for worth? And I said, well, I'm the computer guy that helps these body shops create receipts for all the nuts, bolts, clips, chemicals, pieces, and parts that historically body shops give away. And without missing a beat, this guy kind of stopped, looked at me and said, well, that's just the cost of doing business. So I didn't know exactly how to respond to that at that particular time, but I get the feeling that he was kind of between two worlds there. Is that in his previous job, he was able to charge for all of the stuff that he had done in his previous body shop. But now he's in a position that if he agrees to allow his previous self to talk to him, he's not able to actually do that anymore. So the cost of doing business to him really kind of created a dilemma for him. So I didn't belabor the point at all because I knew the body shop manager. I didn't want to, make unnecessary waves if I didn't have to. But there are so many good resources out there that kind of help body shops or collision centers kind of get around this discussion because so often it's been accepted. There probably was a time, like for example, I own a mid-'80s pickup truck. If I was to take the fender off, I would actually take out about 6 to 8 bolts and the fender would come off. In today's world where everything is held on with plastic or little plastic push retainers, you can't do that. It's most of them won't even fit back in the hole, or if they're not fitting in the hole, the plastic has become so brittle that it's just going to, you can't save it. So you have to replace it with new fasteners. So, and even those fasteners are gotten expensive as well. So the term cost of doing business, I think it needs to be struck from our conversation. It's really not an item that we deal with anymore because it isn't the cost of doing business. And especially now with COVID. COVID has been a beautiful examining. COVID has been the ability for us to really see what the true cost of doing business is. It's like, for example, if you had to shut your shop down for a couple of weeks, then those bills that keep coming in, that's the cost of doing business. If we were selling janitorial supplies, that's the cost of doing business. If we were putting bandages in the first aid kit, that's the cost of doing business. The electric, the plumb, the water, the city taxes, all that stuff, that is the cost of doing business. Not everything that worth sells can be charged, though. For example, if I was to sell an air hose to a shop, it'd be really hard to charge out for an air hose to a car. So yeah, there are some items that we sell that can't be put into the program or put into the SIS program and charged for. but all the things you can should be charged for and should not be looked any different than any other part that a shop sells. So I was talking resources just a second ago, and if you're a Worth sales rep and you're watching this video, I highly recommend a particular resource called Body Shop Business Magazine. They have a really good website here, and this website is basically their magazine. There's also a print version, and the print version is just as good. I like the digital version just so I don't have to look at having this pile of magazines growing in my closet every month. So I like the digital version because it's a much more green. But this is the Body Shop Business Magazine. This is a really good resource. It is really able to give you the option to start some conversations. And if you're starting some conversations, then you're able to communicate a little bit better about those things that are going on in the shop that may be limiting their profitability or their ability to obtain profits for the stuff that they're historically been giving away for years. So one of the things I'm going to little ask here, down at the bottom, down here in the comment section, if you've ever experienced talking to somebody in the collision center industry or some sort of leave a comment. Tell me about what that situation was, or how it worked, or how it worked out. How did you overcome it? I would love to see some comments like that down here in the below. And as always, I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time just to watch the video and to really just kind of provide some feedback to it, because this is not my comfort zone. As much as it looks like I do, but it's not. This is a very uncomfortable thing for me to do, but I'm happy to do it because there's a lot of experience that has come from doing this job that I would like to pass on and be able to do it in a format that is going to reach people and get them to where they're at. So anyway, I want to say thank you again. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.